Hey guys, I wanted to tell you about Kubla Cubed. It is a powerful piece of software that I found for doing takeoffs, especially if you've got any sort of print on a job that you're getting yourself into. You can do takeoffs, you can do volume calculations, you can do all sorts of stuff with this software. And I'm going to be totally honest with you, for the price point, you cannot beat it, and it is very simple, relatively speaking, to all of the other takeoff software options out there. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's called Kubla Cubed, and you can click the link below to grab it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's Down and Dirty. We're going to go over, this is a request from you guys, we're going to talk not just about basic controls in an excavator, we're going to do that, but more importantly, we're going to talk about movements in an excavator as a rookie, as someone who's never really ran one of these machines. There's a bit more to it than just making things move. And I do want to thank the comments for this idea, because I never would have thought of this. We can go over the controls really quick. There's 100,000 videos out there already of going over excavator controls, but really quick, I'm gonna throttle down here so that we don't have to contend with the engine. With my left-hand stick here, if we move it left and right, that's just the swing of the machine, left and right. Simple enough. Now, if I pull back or go forward, we should specify, you can have two different sets of controls. You can have ISO controls or SAE, or what they are more commonly known as is maybe John Deere controls versus cat controls. You'll hear them called a number of different things, backhoe controls versus excavator controls. We are running excavator controls, cat controls, or ISO controls. Those three are the exact same, which means that this is my stick, this is my boom. Now, if we had them switched, if we were running, let's see here, John Deere controls, backhoe controls, or SAE controls, these two would flip. And so this would now become my stick, this would become my boom. But the most common way you're gonna see excavators set up is the way we are now, which is ISO controls. So this is my stick, this is my swing. Now moving over to the right-hand joystick, we have our bucket controls, bucket in and out. And the way I always think about this is if I'm pulling the joystick towards me, the teeth on my bucket out there are going to come towards me. If I push it away, my teeth are going to move away. Same with my stick, by the way. If I pull this towards me, notice my stick is coming towards me. If I push it away, my stick is going away from me. Now we've got our boom controls. That one, if you kind of think about the boom itself, the boom is coming back up towards the machine, or it's going away from me. Just a very quick kind of cheat code to remember. Then you have your travel pedals, and these are very straightforward. By the way, this is my blade control over here. If you're running a mid-size excavator or smaller, it will have a blade. Your blade control is generally found over here on the right-hand side. So we're gonna lift our blade up. These are our travel pedals, and basically, when you're looking forward on the machine, and we've covered this in old videos, the way you know you're looking forward if you don't have a blade is you don't have your final drives out front, you have idlers. I'll link to the video where we talk about that so that you guys can go over that. I'm not going to cover that today. But basically, we've got a travel pedal on our left travel, or our left side, and we have our right travel pedal. If we go backwards on the pedals, we go backwards in life. It's very straightforward, very simple. Again, I don't want to get caught up in that so much today. What I do want to talk about is just some basic concepts when it comes to movement. So we have some buttons and controls up here. These are generally going to be different depending on the excavator you're running, and these are going to be pertaining to all of your auxiliaries. We do have a trigger here, which is our track speed going fast to slow. That's my trigger here. Don't get caught up on button position here, because this is going to just vary depending on the machine that you're in. But we've also got our auxiliary hydraulics that if we had a hammer or an auger or a hoe pack, you can see the lines out there flexing as I move this. These are directional hydraulics. So one way is going to feed the hydraulics one direction. If I go the other way, it's going to feed the hydraulics the other direction. So that's kind of a general overview. Now getting into some actual moving concepts. When you first get into an excavator, it's really easy to feel, oh my goodness, it's this big machine, it's tippy, we're going to fall over, oh my gosh. You need to understand these machines are built to be very stable. Yeah, they're bouncy, but I'm not at any risk of tipping over right now. If we reach out here and grab a bucket of dirt, that's a halfway decent bucket. This is, we'll do better. We'll get us a little more here. There we go, that's a decent bucket. So again, not super heaped, but that's okay. You're gonna notice we can still reach out here. And now we're starting to get a little, our teeter-totter is starting to balance a little more. So right now, we're still leaned over a little bit. And so that's something as a rookie that you're gonna get real nervous about. Oh my goodness, we're gonna tip this baby over. But the beautiful thing about an excavator is, as long as that arm's out in front of me, who cares if we tip that way? Our arm is gonna catch us. And so if we are in a situation where we're tipping, all I gotta do is put my bucket on the ground and I can either boom down or I can stick in, and that's going to prop the machine up. And so let's say we are in a position to where I just cannot lift my bucket up without tipping the machine. Well, what we need to do, you think about the center of gravity. We need to get that center of gravity in closer to us. So we're just gonna drag our bucket across the ground. So I'm gonna boom up and stick in at the exact same time so that we drag our bucket closer to us on the ground. And we're gonna get that load closer, and now we can gently lift up, and look at that. No issue of tipping whatsoever. Again, we can stick way out here, get real tippy. Oh no! But look, I can catch myself. It's not a big deal. Drag that bucket across the ground, get it back over to you. Now, one thing you're gonna notice is I'm keeping my bucket level. That is not something that happens automatically. How are we doing that? Well, if you think about it, let's go back over the front here. You're always gonna be more stable when you're in line with the track. So whether you're digging over the front or the rear of the machine, you're gonna be more stable. Your final drives are heavier. So whenever possible, you wanna dig with your final drives at the back of the machine. And obviously we have our blade on the ground, which is offering even more support. So we're very stable digging over the front of the machine. Now, let's practice with our bucket here. You can see if I stick in just by itself, all of my dirt is gonna fall out of my bucket because my bucket's not staying level. Well, that means I gotta do more as an operator here to keep that bucket level. So let's fill our bucket back up. And so now what we're going to do is, as we stick in, you're gonna notice our bucket needs to uncurl a little bit. And so I'm gonna start sticking in, and then I'm just gonna add a little bucket curl until I get right about the rate that I need. And so let's boom up a little bit to give ourselves, so we're not running into the ground. We'll reach back out there. We're gonna stick in and then just match our bucket rate. Look at there, that's all there is to it. That's all there is to keeping your bucket level. And once you've practiced that a little bit, you're comfortable with it, now you can add in some boom. So now you're gonna notice we're booming down at the same time we're reaching out. If I wanna stick in, boom up, and then we're gonna add our bucket, look at there. We can get this load wherever we want it and keep our bucket level. Whenever you're learning a new machine, it's like everything else. If I'm learning math, I'm not gonna go straight from addition, subtraction to learning trigonometry. There's a lot of steps that I need to go through to actually learn the math that I need to apply to learning trigonometry. It's the same with learning a machine. Don't try to do everything all at once. You're setting yourself up for failure. Don't even start with dirt in the bucket. See if you can just get used to sticking in and using your bucket. And get confident with that. Get to where you can really get fast with it and keep that bucket pretty level. Obviously we're not doing the best job here, and that's okay, because we're practicing, damn it. And that's just what needs to happen. Now, once you get that down and you're comfortable with it, now add in the boom. Now start to make it more complicated and get used to that. Keep that bucket level. And we're gonna practice that over and over and over. And then when you start getting that, now we're gonna add in some swing. And you're just slowly making it more complicated for yourself. But a step at a time. Don't make it super complicated right off the bat, or you're gonna get discouraged. Now, another thing I wanna talk about is, again, kind of going back to that center of gravity but also adding in momentum, it's really easy for me to swing nice and quick with this bucket right up tight against me. Because if you think about spinning in a circle on like a merry-go-round, the faster you swing, the more you're getting pulled to the outside. Same happens here. That bucket of dirt is getting a lot heavier when we're in the middle of a big swing. We're actually getting pulled that direction by that bucket. It's okay when it's tight into the machine, but let's say we're way out here. Well, now all of a sudden, we're putting a lot more force on this machine. It's harder on the swing motors. It's pulling our machine over a lot more than if it was tucked in close. So that's another concept you need to think about is when you're swinging around, a lot of times, especially if you're semi-unstable, is you're gonna wanna keep that bucket tucked in close. And that way you can be nice and safe. And then when you get to your dump area with the skills we just practiced, as you noticed, we're gonna boom out there, stick out there, keep our bucket level until we get to where we wanna dump, and then we're gonna dump. And that's all there is to it. Now, I've already got videos talking about making level passes and everything, but one of the things I do wanna cover is just taking your initial scoop. So many people wanna stab this bucket in, and then they just wanna curl. Oh, look at that big old bucket we just got. Well, the problem is, what control did you have over the grade? You didn't have any control over your grade out there. We just ripped, and you're just letting the machine pull itself down to whatever it can. And then, yeah, we took a big scoop, but you're also way out there. You have no control over what your hole looks like. Instead, when you go to take your first scoops, practice all of your skills first. Get comfortable with that bucket because you're going to use all that. What we're going to do, let me level this back out here. What we're going to do is we're going to come into contact with the ground, and we're just going to put a little bit of pressure. We're not jacking ourselves off the ground. We don't need that much pressure. We just need a little bit of pressure. And then what we're going to start to do is we're going to start to stick in and boom in at the same time. And we can add some bucket curl, but we don't have to, and I'll demonstrate that. We can reach out here, we can stick and boom in, and we're going to build material up against our bucket, and then you can curl and grab it. Look at how much more control we had over our grade versus just throwing it out there and curling our bucket over. That's how you're going to start making effective passes in the excavator, is by, again, put it out there, start to stick and boom in, and you want down pressure. Obviously, if we start to boom up too fast, we're not touching the ground anymore. But if you start to stick in and boom at the same time and keep that pressure, look at how we're building dirt up on our bucket. And now towards the end, we're just going to start to curl as we continue to stick in. Look at that nice fat bucket we just got. That's how you take a proper bucket. So that's all we're going to go with for today. I want to keep this pretty straightforward and pretty simple, but these are just some concepts for you to think about as you start to run an excavator for the first time. You start to get the controls under you. These are the sort of things you need to think about with the machine. So as always, hope this helps. We'll catch you on the next Down and Dirty.